dangerous it is. The scholars, they talk about the aspect, something called Ruqyah. Can I ask you to explain what is Ruqyah? And then we'll go into some of its details.
Ruqyah, or they call it al-azaim, is basically things to be recited as means of cure when a person is sick. And we know that cure for diseases can be either physical, like taking medicines and so on, and there's also the non-physical means, which refers to the wahy or dua, Quran or Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or dua in general, and it has an effect by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ, he used to make ruqyah on himself, and he used to make ruqyah on others, reciting Quran, reciting certain dua supplications when someone is sick, when someone is affected some way or the other. So this is part of the truth, and it has an effect by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the subject of ruqyah, sometimes people might fall into what is not permissible if they would call upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they would seek help from the jinn, for example, reciting acts of or words of kufr, disbelief, seeking help from other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or saying things that is basically giving their allegiance to the jinn or to the shayateen or the devils and so on. So a person has to be aware of these things.
Sheikh, is that, if I just put it into modern day language, is that what we consider to be black magic?
Black magic, or ruqyah with not necessarily implementing magic on a person, but even resolving or trying to relieve a person from black magic by calling upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I think they call that white magic.
Right, it's all not permissible, it's all evil things. And that's why a person has to make sure, making ruqyah on oneself, it's a beautiful thing, by reciting Quran, hadith, du'as of the Prophet ﷺ, or anything as long as it's not shirk. The Prophet ﷺ made it so clear to the companions radiallahu anhum. He said, "I'ridu alayya ruqakum." Present to me your ruqa. What do you say when you're trying to cure somebody with making dua and so on? And then he said to them, "Urqu ma lam yakun shirkan." Make ruqyah as long as it's not shirk. So this is the condition that would make the ruqyah permissible, and it's a good thing as long as there's no words that means calling upon other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or relying on other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.